Who got the drop? Who got the drop? Who got the drop? Shalom Drop Nation. Who got the drop? Static in the attic got the drop. You know who really got the drop, man? AyeDee, the truth seeker, got the drop, man. Let me tell you something about AyeDee. AyeDee is a, serious recon specialist. You don't see a lot of what happens behind the scenes, but trust me, AyeDee is a major part of what's going on behind the scenes with Drop Nation at every turn since day one. You know what I'm saying? So, along with just being, hands-on, man. I mean, the bro's always in the books, always connecting things and completely hijack free, man. That's what I love about the bro. And he just hit the copper thread with this. I had to share it immediately. I said, what? So, Static in the Attic is going to drop some drop. I'm just here highlighting some great recon from these great reconers, such as AyeDee, such as Static in the Attic. Has some great stuff. Check out his channel. And this is a map. And I love my maps. Drop Nation, Khandrop loves his maps. And this map right here, already you see orientation. We keep telling you that you're not in the East or that you're not in the West, you're in the East. So you see these maps over and over again. Now, the interesting thing about this map, he's going to point it out, this is supposed to be 1418. And supposedly, they didn't discover, right? They didn't discover all this northwest area to the 1700s. You see a lot of maps like, let's see, we got another one. This one here he dropped, stuff like this. You see all this stuff missing around here. Now this is supposed to be around, what year is this? This is supposed to be 1712 or 1632, 1712. They still haven't put this together yet. They still haven't put the puzzle together yet, right? You see how Florida is all this. All this. Look at Canada. Huh? And they got land all the way up now. We got to get on that North Pole land situation because they got a lot of land up there. Those maps that show, the land equally divided into 4 parts in the North Pole, all that stuff. But, let's stay focused right now. We're talking about 1418, and you see they got all the drop already. You know what I mean? Over here, they're missing the drop on the northern part, northwest, supposedly, right? But the orientation, when you dig on it, they got you in the east, right? Here's Cali, and again, they keep having California as an island. Now, Static in the Attic says that, it was an island into up to the 1700s or something like that. Again, Californian island, and you got the Red River, the Red Sea, right in the middle, right in the middle. So AyeDee again, man, great researcher, has a great theory as well about these dams. You know what I mean? Like, is this why they put these dams up to stop the water flow? Did they stop the water flow? You know what I mean? When did California not become an island? The Isle of California, the island of California. So let's get some drop that AyeDee just dropped, man. A hot strudel out the oven. And Drop Nation. Love to AyeDee, the truth seeker, Ahab, the Static in the Attic. I'm kicking back, enjoying my children playing chess and building great, pyramids and things, man, with these great, with these blocks here, man. Just great to see them grow, put it all together. We're having some constructive time. Say, Drop Nation, what it do? Drop Nation, what it do? Say, Shalom. All right. So we're going to get to this video. We're going to let y'all watch this video. I'm going to kick back, enjoy my droplets, but I'm still going to interject because this is a hot strudel that AyeDee just dropped. So let's fall back and see what Static in the Attic got to say. Let go.
I wanted to share this map that I found with you guys from 1418. And this not only blows the whole story of Columbus and the rest of the world not knowing anything about the Americas completely out of the water, but the inscriptions that are on here, it throws the whole story of the Americas out of the boat. I mean, it's just you guys already know that it's pretty much a joke, the history that we get, but this right here is just going to alleviate all doubt. If you guys are having a hard time orienting, this is Africa, the Mediterranean, Caspian Sea, India, Cambodia, on and on. And you'll notice that Australia seems way far to the...
And that's interesting when you see Australia normally way over there on the other side. Look how close it is to South America. Look how close it is to South America, man. Now, I guess is this a Chinese map they said? So we're going to read a lot more about it. He dropped a couple documents, Static in the Attic. So we're going to dig on this document. He's going to read like one page of it. We're going to belly flop through it a little bit, and I'm going to drop it for you. Actually, I already dropped it for you. So click all these links, featured links, pull them up so you can kind of follow along what he's digging on. Just for putting together an orientation. Again, are you in the East or are you in the West? Because right now they got you in the East. And that's what I'm talking about when they went to the furthest India, the far Orient. They just found you, man. They just found you over here. But they left over here. So let's see what Static in the Attic got to say.
Really close over to South America here, and then South America is kind of slanting in. I'll get to the part here in a second about the type of projection that this is. Let me read you a couple things about this. This map was purchased by Mr. Liu Gang, a distinguished Chinese lawyer and art collector, in 2001. He acquired it from an old map book dealer in Shanghai. Essentially, the map shows every continent in the world in its correct position with recognizable shape and relative size. It appears astonishingly similar to a map published today, save that the projection appears to be a type of mallweed rather than a Mercator. As I've covered many times before, we are all used to seeing a Mercator projection. Even Google Earth uses a Mercator projection. That's not what you would actually see if you went up into space and literally took a photograph, which doesn't seem to have ever happened in the history of mankind. According to controversial historian Gunnar Thompson, the map contains numerous anomalies or errors that can be used to assess the age and authenticity of the document. These features can be referred to as diagnostic geographical markers. They actually have a name for this. What I've been saying for a long time now, they're calling diagnostical geographical markers things like California being an island back in the day, where all of the maps from, it doesn't matter who made the map, where they were from, they could be from Italy, they could be from Spain, they could be from China, everybody shows that California was an island up until the 1700s. King Ferdinand IV, I believe, had to declare that California was no longer an island in 1751. Every one of the maps shows that California was an island. Also on this map that they classify as diagnostic geographical markers is land at the North Pole, because they claim that there is no land up at the North Pole, but we have a lot of maps that say differently.
Yeah, man. I mean, it gets deep. I read a comment. I believe it was on one of these vids or another bro's vid, talking about the land beyond the pole. Like there's 33 ponds with land in it beyond the pole. So, you know, I don't know where he's getting his recon, but I've never heard that. 33 lands or ponds. They call them ponds with land in it. 33. You know, got a lot to do with this 33, huh? I mean, is that some of the secret joke in our face that, yo, do you know there's 33 oceans with land in it? That's 33 other worlds, man. 33 other worlds beyond the poles. So when you dig on Worlds Beyond the Poles by F. Amadeo Giannini, when you dig on the flat drop that we're kicking every Wednesday, we're getting it today at 8 o'clock Pacific. We're digging on Worlds Beyond the Poles. We can't put that book down because it's so good to us. It just feels so good to us. But yeah, we're just talking about more land beyond the pole. Now, even on the poles, so-called poles, they are More land, man.
And of course, no independent researchers are allowed to go up there because you'll get shot out of the seas. Now, they say that these diagnostic geographical markers have the same usefulness that DNA markers or fingerprints have in a judicial investigation. They can reveal the time at which a geographical feature began or ended. So California was an island up until the 1700s. I'm still sticking with that. A few things they don't point out that I'm going to point out is...
And I wonder what this is right here, because we know we got the land of Mu, right? So they put something around this Mu area. But, maybe they're saying that there's a land underneath here and underneath here. Because see how they got lettering on all the land, right? And they got this just right there in the middle where Mu would be. But let's go.
That they have the Bering Strait on here. They have Alaska. And guys, none of the Western maps have anything to do with Alaska or the Bering Strait up until the late 1700s. The official story tells us that Sir Francis Drake, now they're saying that he actually landed at Point Reyes just north of San Francisco Bay by about 20 miles, but that everybody sailed right by the San Francisco Bay and didn't realize it was there for hundreds of years. Just all kinds of problems. But nobody shows anything going further up the west coast of America until the late 1700s. But here they very clearly show Alaska, they show the Bering Strait, and let's get into the PDF here. And the notes that are on here are what really seals the deal and screws everything up for the official narrative. These are the notes that I'm referring to right here, outlined in red and written in Chinese.
Okay, dope. So maybe we can actually refer to this at some point to see what this says, if it's a translation that we're getting. Again, pull up the document that he's about to pull up. I already pulled it up here. You can click it below. It says Chinese 1418 map, man. You know I'm digging on these maps, man. And he's about to go into it, and then we'll touch on it. But really, I want you to do your own recon. He's about to hit a body bag. He's about to hit a body bag. So pay attention, man. Love to AyeDee, the truth seeker. For real, for real.
Let me show you what they have to say. Australia. Now keep in mind that Australia supposedly was not discovered until 1770 by James Cook. 1770. This map is from 1418. And not only do they show that Australia is in fact a continent that exists here on Earth, but they go as far as to say that the skin of the Aborigine is black too, even referring to them as Aborigines. All of them are naked and wear articles around their waist. Those people also have anthropophagous habits. Now, anthropophagous is a very fancy word for cannibalism. So that's what the makers of this map here are claiming. Now, in North America, on the region of Alaska, the people living in this area are similar to the Khitan and Mongols who feed on fish. If you guys have ever seen the Inuits, the Eskimos that still live in Alaska, they look strikingly similar to the Mongols. So
Static. I know you're doing your recon, Static, but you need to recon the Mongols and what they really look like. And if they keep throwing all this black stuff in your face, Africa, the skin of the people of Africa here is black lacquer. Teeth are white, lips are red, their hairs are curled. That's South Africa. All right. Then you got Australia. The skin of the Aborigine is black too. Static. They keep telling you everything's black. What did Benjamin Franklin say in 1751, man? He said, hey, everything is black or swarthy or tawny. The whites, the principal whites, are the English and the Saxons alone. He said that's the principal body of whites are the English and the Saxons. Everybody else is black. he's telling, I mean, this Chinese 1418 translation drop is breaking down the same thing. Of course, we know Africa, right? Of course, right? Black, right? So-called black, because I don't like using that English word. We're talking shaka wall, right? We're talking a color, a copper color. Let's go. The skin of the Aborigine is black too. North America, the people living in this area are similar to the Mongols or the Kedan who fed on fish. The skin of the race in this area is black red and feathers are wrapped around their heads. Black red, black red. That's called copper color. That's the color of a grandma's penny, right? The red man, right? The red man. But he he went into this, oh, well, these Mongols look like these Inuits and they look the same as these Mongols, like these are the Chinese, right? But the Chinese are what? Where's China? Where's China? All right, so we already got that if you're surfing the wave. So the Mongols are as dark or black as everybody else. And that's what this is saying. North America, these Mongols are black red. You can't go to some modern hijack Mongol color and then come to black red. Still talking about North America. Black too. All of them are black. The whole world look like this. But there is, according to Benjamin Franklin, you got the English and the Saxons, so-called, that are the principal body of, so-called whites. You know what I'm saying? So that's all we're putting together here. Now, let them keep digging. I just didn't want, we got to dodge that Mongol hijack because we know that we're just talking about a black world, so-called a copper color world that's being described here in 1418. Let's get it back because, you see how he tries to sidestep the Mongols because that puts it all in play with Genghis Khan and Prester John.
They look strikingly similar to the Mongols, so this is another proof that these people were actually here. Let's see, in the middle of North America.
Whoa. Is it me or did he just skip over the fact that the people in North America is black red? Let me get it back because I believe he went from the Mongol drop. He skipped all this and went down here. Nah, man, you can't skip the good Static. Let me just make sure. That's my guy, man. Static the Addict's my guy. I love the AyeDee. You know what I'm saying? He put me on a Static, man. That's my guy, man. Let's see what he's talking about.
They look strikingly similar to them.
Right.
Inuits, the Eskimos that still live in Alaska, they look strikingly similar to the Mongols. So this is another proof that these people were actually here.
Go back.
The makers of this map here are claiming. Now, in North America, on the region of Alaska, the people living in this area are similar to the Kedan and Mongols who feed on fish. If you guys have ever seen the Inuits, the Eskimos that still live in Alaska, they look strikingly similar to the Mongols. So this is another proof that these people were actually here. Let's see. In the middle of North America, there are more.
In the middle of North America. So he skipped over this drop. So we going to read it, Static. We going to read the drop. The skin of the race in this area is black red. And I think he caught himself because once he tried to verify the hijack natives, with the hijack Mongols, we're all just talking about black men, right? Black women, a race of black people, copper colored people, right? So the skin of this race of this area is black red. So these are the red men. That's why they're not just black. Australia, they just said black. Africa, they just said black lacquer, like bliggity black, right? Over here, they said black red. These are the red men, the copper color man. That's why they compared them to the Mongols and said the people living in this area are similar to the Mongols. Their skin is black red. You see how he just jumped over that because, either he's, too smart for his own good. He don't want that type of heat. Or he just made a mistake. But either way, It's a body bag, Daniel. Body bag for the illusion. Hey, man, you want to give thanks around this time? You want to be thankful, man? Be thankful, man, for the drop, man. All praise to Watah. Be thankful that the drop is flowing. It's flowing through them. It's flowing through you. It's flowing. Trust me. We're being crystallized, and they have to help us. They have to. They got to choose up, or it's a wrap. So you're gonna have some. You're gonna have some that's gonna be helpful. The skin of this race in this area is black, red, and feathers are wrapped around their heads and waist. They are anthropophagious. Anthropophagious. I want to look up that word. Anthropophagious. Let's look it up together. Anthropophagious. Am I saying? Let me make sure I spell it right. Anthropophagious. Okay, humans. Oh, they trying to say they can't. Here's their cannibalistic stuff, right? Unless we're just talking dog. Unless we're talking cynocephaly. The custom and the practice of eating human flesh. So they trying to say that these people eat human flesh. Well, we heard that before, right? Even in the American Holocaust, which we're going to get a piece for the dismount of this American Holocaust. They come over here digging up Indian graves and eating bodies, and they're trying to call you cannibals, right? On the west of North America. Oh, okay, we got some cannibals just saying on the west of North America. But listen to this. It says this area is frozen land on the northeast of North America. Northeast. Okay, so they're talking about East Coast, New York, I mean, all that, Jersey, all that. Frozen land. I mean, was it frozen? Was it just snowing? Was it colder? There are more than 1,000 tribes and kings here. Come on, Static. Why you skip over all this drop? Static, why you skip over all this drop? There are more than 1,000 tribes and kings here. So when they put that papal bull, remember this is 1418? Papal bull came out 1452. And in 1452, you got the papal bull rolling up on all these dark copper-colored people in America. It says, let me take their kingdoms. Let me take their dukedoms. Let me take down their kingdoms. There are more than 1,000 tribes and kings here. Before you go crazy giving, thanks, and slaying turkeys to celebrate your own destruction of your kingdoms, know that what you got to be thankful for today is that you're waking up. What you got to be thankful for today is that you're waking up. Be thankful that you're waking up because you're the tribes and you're the kings that they just found here. You're the tribes, you're the queens that they just found here. Now he skips over all the fact that there's 1,000 tribes and kings here, and he goes into most of the people have learned equitation and taxophily, and he's going to get into all that. But we're just getting clarity. We're just getting clarity with the drop. So let go.
Then 1,000 tribes and kings here. Also in the middle of North America, most of the people here have learned equitation and taxophily.
I mean, how you just skip over something like that? There's 1,000 tribes and kings. They took down kingdoms. Now we're going to get into these cities, these fortified cities that they found. Stone cities built already that they can't duplicate. North America, black, red. Don't try to tell us that some Tonto represents our land. Don't try to tell us some hijack that's taking our titles, some Indian tribes under some confederacy today, getting help by FEMA. None of that represents these black, red people in the ghettos, These black red people in the hood, that's you, my naga. They just found you in North America. These black red people don't come from Africa. They're from the East. You're in the East.
Toxophilie is, again, a very fancy word for archery. Equitation is equestrian, of course.
So, whoa, not only did they find black red people here, copper colored people, over 1,000 tribes and kings, a whole kingdom over here, but you had horses and you were great at archery. But they said the horses weren't over here, right? The Spanish brought them. Most of the people here have learned equitation. Most of y'all was already riding on horses in your kingdoms.
And if you know the history of horses, the convoluted history of horses here in North America, you'll get this big runaround answer that sure, they lived here for millions of years up until 10,000 years ago. Then they all died off, and they weren't reintroduced to the continent until 1519 by the Spanish. Yet this map from 1418 says that they rode horses and shot bows. Another really strong argument that they were actually here on the south of North America. The land is covered with trees and the big.
Whoa, stop skipping. Static. Anthropophagy. Are they getting back to the cannibal stuff? The land of this area is rich in gold and silver. Don't skip over that, static, because that's where all the static is popping off from. The greed of coming to the cities of gold. The people here use gold as currency. Now we use paper and plastic, but these black red people they just found here were using gold as their currency. These copper-colored tribes use gold as their currency. The kings, the 1,000 tribes.
Tree here is big enough for 100 persons to hold in the arm.
And you got big ass trees, man. The land is covered with trees, and the big tree here, the big tree here, the big tree here. Now he's gonna talk sequoias. I'm talking about big trees. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Roraima. I'm talking about your trees that reach the firmament. I'm talking about the big trees. Every tribe had a tree. The big tree here is big enough for 100 people to hold in the arm. Come on, man. So they found you with big trees, gold, a whole kingdom, and just so you don't get it messed up, you're the red man. You're the reddish, black, copper people with the feathers, rocking, solid, a kingdom, using gold as a currency, rocking with their trees, big trees. Let go.
Now, if you had never seen a giant sequoia before, it would probably be pretty hard to fathom. These things are absolutely enormous. I just got back from the Trail of 100 Giants up in the Kern National Forest, whatever it's called up there. And so these guys saw the sequoias. They wrote it down here. Now, the biggie that gets me really excited about all this is South America. The cities here were built with huge stones, therefore called stone cities.
Let go.
The people here believe in the religion named Balaka, in which human beings are used as sacrificial victims.
Balaka, Baal, right? So they're connecting this Baal connection. And we know we got Atlantis here. We got to dodge the hijack at home first, right? Because that's where Poseidon and the Atlantis and Atlas and the Canaanite, the Cephali, you know what I mean? So we know we got that hijack already here. Balaka, Baal. All right, you see it right in your face bone. But, you know, we still dodge the hijack because we know that, you know, all these tribes weren't, you know, down with this human sacrifice. You know, Quetzalcoatl personally wasn't down with no human sacrifice. So we don't let them try to typecast all of these indigenous people into this hijack Atlantis, but we know that it's already here, you dig? But ain't nothing more hijacked than the pestilence and the parasite, and you're going to get that, for our dismount out of the American Holocaust by Dan Stanner.
And people pay obeisance to fire. 1 second, please. There are more than 20 stone cities here. Now, this is where everything gets completely flipped upside down about the whole history that we are taught about America.
Let go.
They're saying that there are more than 20 stone cities here in South America. Let me just jump around a little bit here. This is a map from 1660 showing Cuzco.
Moshe. Mozos. The River Moses. Huh?
Not being very far from Lake Titicaca, okay? Let me show you what things actually look like today. Here's Cuzco. Here's Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca used to run all the way up to here. Something drastic has happened here. This map also shows that in 1660, Cuzco was a very functional.
Stone cities is what they found you in your kingdoms using gold as currency. Cuzco, city of David, navel of the earth. Who's Preston John?
City. You guys are all familiar with the ruins at Cuzco, right? This is what we're talking about, okay? Well, now, the problem with all of this is that evidently, first off, when do you guys think all this was built? Do you guys know the official history of the story of the Incas? I don't even want to call it history. It's the story of the Incas. Well, between 1450 and 1460, in that 10-year time frame, they built the city of Machu Picchu. It only took them 10 years. Now, I know you guys have all seen millions of images of this, but let's just look at this real quick. They built this in 10 years, in 1460.
I mean, can you dig on that? That's the official story, right? The official history. Do you believe the hype? 10 years? Let's go.
With thousands of miles of landscape terraces. This is all up at the very top of a mountain up in the Andes. They built this in 10 years between 1450 and 1460. They lived there for a brief 60 years until 1520 when what's his name? Pizarro. Francisco Pizarro, I think it was. He shows up and he kidnaps their king. He sneezes and then inadvertently gives 10 million people measles, evidently.
He sneezes and everyone gets sick. This is back to the fact that you have a pestilence. You have a parasite. You have disease spread through them. This is why 300 of them, even if you look at their numbers, 300 can take out 3,000 because of the disease. 300 could take out 30,000 of you because of the disease. He didn't sneeze on accident. Everyone got sick. They purposely got everyone sick. Even in the book Ame'rican Holocaust, man, these conquistadors were walking around just spreading the disease. They were putting it on the trees. They were spreading it on everything. In the water, anything they touched, they were spreading out this bottled up super black plague that they were bringing over here. Those blacks were bringing their plague. One sneeze got everybody sick. That's the power of this biological chemical warfare. When the disease hits, you know what I'm saying, a pristine environment that they came to.
And the whole country died.
Wow.
I mean, that might sound like I'm exaggerating things a little bit. That is the official history, guys.
Wow.
Pizarro shows up kidnaps the king, holds him for ransom. All of a sudden, the Spanish have 13,000 pounds of gold. They sail off. The whole country dies. Machu Picchu was rediscovered in 1911, and the guy that discovered it said, no, there's no evidence that the Spanish ever even came here. And Machu Picchu is just one of the many, many cities. But I'm serious, the official history just says that the Incas got wiped out in a very quick matter of time, which would mean that Cuzco went under, but we still have Cuzco as a functioning city in 1660. So the whole entire story that we get of South America,
man,
of the world, in my opinion, is just absolutely bunk. But here you go, guys. I just wanted to share this little bit. I want to get more into that story of the Incas. I just don't have time right now. But here's a map, 1418, that just blows everything that we've been told out of the water here, guys.
I mean, all right. So let's check out this PDF. So we're going to pick it up and pull up this link. You know, and just, search around for the drop. Search around for the drop. Now, 1418, there's a copy of the map in 1763. Author Mo Ying Tong. A map showing that Chinese fleets circumnavigated and charted the entire globe as early as 1418, well before the Europeans. So who's the Chinese? We got to put the maps back up so we know that these Chinese are the Khans, man. So there's a reason why they got all the drop. It's not the modern Chinese today. Look, nothing that you see today is real. The Native American is not the Native American. The Chinese is not the indigenous Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's who you think they are, man. Everyone is acting like something. The Indian ain't the Indian, right? So let's go. You can get more on this map. I'm just belly flopping through it. North Pole Isles where there were none. Mysterious Arctic Gulf. Mysterious Arctic Gulf. Hudson Strait or the Bering Strait, but no Hudson Bay. Island of California. No Florida, no Gulf of Mexico. Perpendicular East Coast. All right. These are just parts of it. A South Pole, Australia, which is likely to be mistaken for Antarctica, but it's not Antarctica. A long neck version of Africa where the land area connecting Africa to the Middle East is more than 10 times the actual distance of the land in the region of Isthmus of Suez. The coast of Europe lacking England, Ireland, and Norway. Dig on it, man. It's the first time I'm just digging on it with you, so you know me and these maps, man. Here's a copy of the map right here you can dig on. Again, I wonder what this is saying. I don't know if there's a translation here. Okay, they're trying to say that this part got cannibals, right? Maybe they got some dog heads chomping down because they was bringing in war dogs. We know they were bringing in war dogs, man. Yeah, I'm going to take my time, man, and go through this on my own. I suggest you do the same. See if we get some more drop out of this. I'm sure there's a lot of drop hiding in between the lines, man. Let's see if I can find that page he was on. We got Cathay, huh? Or China, huh? Where's Cathay? I mean, my wave surfers already know. Whoa, Japan. The shape of the people's eyes is round within deeper eye holes. Round? The people's eyes of Japan and whoa are round. I mean, or Korea. Have y'all ever saw that in the modern Japanese with round eyes? Maybe the modern Japanese ain't the Japanese they're talking about. Whoa. Whoa. All right. What else we got here? Let's see. Oh, that's when we got into North America. The skin of that race is what? Black, red. Got some frozen land on the East Coast. And you got them stone cities. Like you just pointed out, the cities here were built with huge stone cities. Cities of gold. South Pole, Antarctica, North Pole. Okay. So we just belly flopping. And you got the drop. So you can do that as well. You know what I mean? You can get all this drop out here. The Western oceans. Yeah. We got to get into those underground rivers too, man. Let the Ahchwa she dropped some drop a long time ago. I got it circled in my notes. Ahchwa. I got it circled in my notes. The skin of the Aborigine is also black. We're talking about Australia. North Africa, the huge city here built with stones. The dimension of the stones can be compared to those used by the tomb of the Qin dynasty. Oh, okay. The Qin dynasty. So who's the Kenites? Who's the Kenites? Yeah, man. It's all coming together. You got the link. You pull it up. Get the drop. All right. So we go ahead and belly flop in it. And let me know what you find. And we'll keep going, man. If you got some more drop in here, we'll keep going with it. And I'll leave you with this right here. This is the a great PDF dropped on us by Kara Mayo of the Ame'rican Holocaust. We replaced the other one we had because it didn't have everything. So this one got it all up to Kara Mayo, man. And it's all about the pestilence and the genocide. And you know, when we talked about old boy sneezing and getting everybody sick, and how everyone got sick because one hijacked sneeze, they got the whole village sick. And that's how much sickness they brought to our land. And not just sickness in terms of disease, but also just the, physicality, you know what I'm saying? The murderous sadism. Spanish reports of their own. I'm on page 71 of American Holocaust, Pestilence and Genocide. Spanish reports of their own murderous sadism. They report of their own murder. During this time are legion. For a lark, they tore babies from their mother's breast by their feet and dashed their heads against the rocks. The bodies of other infants they spitted together with their mothers, and all whom were before them on their swords. On one, this is their own accounts of what they did. This is what they did. On one famous occasion in Cuba, a troop of 100 or more Spaniards stopped by the banks of the dry river and sharpened their swords on the whetstones in its bed, eager to compare the sharpness of their blades. Reported an eyewitness to the events, they drew their weapons and began to rip open the bellies to cut and kill those lambs, men, women, children, and old folk, all of whom were seated off guard and frightened, watching the Moors and the Spaniards. They were watching the Moors and the Spaniards. And within two credos, not a man of all of them there remained alive. The Spaniards entered the large house nearby, for this was happening at its door. In the same way, with cuts and stabs, began to kill as many as they found, so that a stream of blood was running, as if a great number of cows had perished. To see the wounds, they covered the bodies of the dead and dying was a spectacle of horror and dread. This particular slaughter began at the village of Zucayo, where the townsfolk earlier had provided for the conquistadors a feast of cassava, of fruit, and fish. From there it spread. No one knows how many Indians the Spanish killed in this sadistic spree, but Las Casas put the number at well over 20,000 before the soldiers' thirst for horror had been slacked. Another report, this one by a group of concerned Dominican friars, concentrated on the way the Spanish soldiers treated native infants. Some Christians encountered an Indian woman who was carrying in her arms a child at suck. And since the dog they had with them was hungry, they tore the child from the mother's arms and flung it still living to the dog. We're talking the dogs, man. We're talking the serpents, man. We're talking the jackals, man. You're talking the sinus of Thyli, man. The dog-headed men. Now you got the drop. So were they just tossing them to just regular dogs, or the dog-headed, dog, warrior dogs, war dogs, right? These war dogs dressed in armor. They were tossing the children to them. They toss your children to their war dogs. Sinus of folly, Saint Christopher, right? They tore the child from the mother's arms and flung it still living to the dog, who proceeded to devour it before the mother's eyes. When there were among the prisoners some women who had recently given birth, if the newborn babies happened to cry, they seized them by the legs and hurled them against the rocks and flung them into the jungle so that they would be certain to die there, because they found pleasure in inventing all kinds of odd cruelties, man. The more cruel, the better, with which to spill human blood. They built a long gibbet, long enough for the toes to touch the ground and prevent strangling, and hang 13 nagas. They hang 13 nagas at a time in honor of Christ our Savior and the 12 apostles. So when you're calling out these names, when our brothers are calling out these names and saying, you're the body of Christ, just overstand the insult and the injury that it does when our own brothers, when our own family take the drop, give you an indigenous feel, put on some nice relaxing flow, and start speaking on you, and then they bring you right back to the Christ. And they say that's in Genesis. This is the same energy that you were hung, because wasn't this Christ hung from a tree or on a cross? I get it confused. It says both, right? So before we start paying attention to the cross, we have our own towel. Before we start paying attention to their crucifixion, we are being crucified. Our babies are being crucified and devoured by the dogs in honor of Saint Christopher. That's why we dodge all hijacks at all times, and we get out of the static, but love the static in the attic. But we get out the static of the hijacked city. We don't call on these names. We don't call on this vibration. We don't try to merge it into us. We know the difference about what's been brought to us and what they sacrificed in the name of or in honor of. So how do we give honor to the same frequency? We don't. We go directly to Hawa, directly to our creator. Allah Hawa. And you got the rest. If you could stomach it, read the rest. We're just talking the drop. And these maps are leading us, to a lot of water. Literally. Literally. The water's being uncovered, you know what I'm saying? And we're able to start seeing like, okay, is this what the world really look like? And are you on the west or the east? Allah, the Watah to AyeDee, the true seeker, and the Watah, the static in the attic, man, because we stay static free, but we'll let a little static in, man, if you're going to drop it like this, static in the attic. Y'all keep vibing up, man, and you got to be thankful for the water, because Drop Nation, we got the water. Allah.